Guy, you couldn't even let me finish my theme
Okay,
tune,
go
but it's
ahead
all
and ask me
good.
a question real quick.
All right, let me just take this
Okay.
off. Yeah, Rahubat, greetings. Where you calling from?
Okay.
What's
Hey,
your name?
it's Keon from the U.S.
Yeah.
I was just calling to see how do you feel about the recent executive orders by Trump, and what do you foresee what's gonna happen within the next year or two? And that's all.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we literally just dropped a video. If we haven't, it's coming, which addresses the whole thing because the master teacher, Parnabab Yanun, has been warning us and telling us about this for a very, very, very long time. And he put out the scrolls Leviathan. They're like four versions of the book. So Leviathan 1, 2, 3, 4, that covers in great detail, the day and time we're living in. And this was from, he's been telling us things from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And you've got to be able to read between the line. We put out a video when we actually predicted that he was going to come back in power because the master teacher told us way in advance. And so, for us, we know and have been expecting this. A lot of people have been caught off guard. And the books Leviathan 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is basically, it's called The Beast. And that book literally goes into what's going on right now. So the video we did, Be Prepared for the Antichrist, was explaining, that, and I remember I also at the time, I mentioned when he was doing the campaign, the one he did in Madison Square Garden. And I was explaining that, was it, funnily, go back and watch that video. I was like, he's doing his campaign, right? At the same place Hitler was doing his campaign. And at the time, I remember some people in the comments were like, oh, what are you trying to say? He has nothing to do with Hitler. And a lot of people don't actually know that he has ties to Germany. And I also explained in that, I think it's that same video where we were saying that although people think that Germany lost the war, the Third Reich, which was really another part of, Hitler's outfit, they actually won the war. And a lot of the scientists and a lot of Germans were, they basically went over to America. And if you start doing some research, you will find that, a lot of the scientists and people like that are from Germany. And the point I'm making is that if it was a coincidence about him doing his rally in Madison Square, the same place that Hitler did, why is this big buzz around Elon Musk doing the Nazi salute? And when you look at the symbol, the swastika, another video we did where I explained that it's a cross with the ends turned, in one way. So when you go back now and look at the ties and the people, as you say, that he's surrounding himself with, and people just kind of like now just bearing witness and giving allegiance, there is an article that was written by the Daily News that literally on the cover it said, Pope calls out hateful Trump, a person who thinks only about building walls and not bridges. He's not a Christian, but an antichrist. Right? That's not me saying, that's what was on the Daily News by the Pope. So the people around him, all billionaires, right? So Elon Musk being one of those, and he's got the robots, he's got a lot of the X, right? His company, the first company Elon Musk had was called XCOM. And X is like a target, right? X marks the spot. And X is like, if you put XXX 3 times, you get the 666, because that deals with VI, and it deals with, when I say Leviathan, if you look at the word Leviathan, you have Levi, the last part of that word Levi, VI is 6, and the word Levi means law, and Athan means 6. So when a master teacher put out these books, part 1, 2, 3, and 4, called 666, Leviathan, the beast, as the Antichrist, and on the cover you see a young Donald Trump, because these books came out a long time ago, and obviously now he's a much older Donald Trump. But he explained, because when you look at that, it has the 7 heads and the horns, and so yeah, now we're seeing it at play, where he had Amazon guy behind there, he had the Facebook guy behind there, Facebook, Facebook, FBI. that's not a coincidence to me either. So he's got a lot of billionaires surrounding him right now. He also had, so going back to the Elon Musk thing with the X, his first company was called XCOM. When he took over Tesla, he called the X car. Then his company is called SpaceX, and then now he bought Twitter. And what did he change the name of Twitter to? X, right? So if you start to now look at the book of Revelations, which a lot of people say is the book of prophecy, and the book of, like, things that are going on now, right? Dealing with the end times, or the end of the world. When you look at that VI, as I said, it's 6 in Roman numerals, yeah? And if you look at what Revelation is talking about, it's talking about, in fact, let me just read a bit of it. So if you look at from, say, Revelation 13, yeah, 1 to 18, it talks about a people leaving America. And because if you go to 18:2, it talks about, come out of my people, because a lot of plagues are going to befall America, and because of it, the iniquities that it has done. So if you look at Revelation 12:9, it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent. Okay. So that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. All right. And when you say angels, or we got another call already. Gosh, I ain't even touched. Yeah, we're called Los Angeles angels, lost angels, and even the fires and everything that is going on right now in America, the wars and all the tension that's going on right now, it's all a build-up. And we told you that in that video, that from 2024 to 25 till the 2030, we're going to see a lot of things happening. There's so much I could say on that, but someone's holding on. So let me take that call, and then we'll carry on with this, because this is a lot. Rahubat, greetings, and oh, is it Kaiser? Yeah. How you doing?
Rahubat.
Rahubat.
Greetings, Akem. My friend. How are you? How have you been?
Oh man, doing my best. But we're good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's great to hear from you. Yes, and like getting some time every other time. Mm-hmm. Watch a few great videos that you do. When you break things down, and then it's like I upload the information and it's downloaded to me. Take a few days, think about questions to ask, and then I come back.
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. So, yes, I'm giving you some flowers for telling you we're grateful. First off, everyone that's learning in the groups, we're grateful for what you teach, and you helping what Baba's trying to teach us to understand better. Okay.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate love what you're saying.
We gotta yeah, we have to be grateful for people that wants to help, and while we're alive, we should recognize those people that's teaching. You know,
Thank you.
and working
We're just
together.
doing our part, and everyone's got a part to play. So I appreciate love your comment.
Great.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's great. So I was wondering about how do children learn about animals and Wu-Sabat, and like basically I've always wanted to know that because ever since I was a kid, I'm a '90s baby, so we had Pokemon. I know it's funny. This may sound funny, but we talk about Pokemon because these animals, like, do they exist? There's animals that can turn you into ice. They can shoot fire. You know, there's like dragons, and even Pikachu, this little mouse, is like an animal that has electricity. So there's like creatures. Are they creatures that they're so more like much more connected to nature, and they're creatures that are so powerful. So I was always wondering, like, could like real dragons exist that could grant any wish, or it's just sort of like a genie, you know,
I get you saying.
or like they're very like, or they're very like almost as if they're gods compared to humans. Like, did we used to be connected to basically in that world in Pokemon, right? They can catch them and they can talk to the animals. They're just calling the animal Pokemon, right? But they are actual beings out there. Basically,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
a
it's
lot
like
of
they
the
live in the fifth dimension and then they exist there, but not in our world. Our animals we can't talk to no more. Maybe our ancestors could. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
And how do we teach children about, like, I think we should have a book that teaches children about every animal and what they do.
Right.
You know, even on YouTube, I watch Casual Geographic. You know, he's like a guy that, if you maybe seen his videos, and I learned about the bonobo yesterday. We know about gorilla, we know about chimpanzee, but they don't talk about bonobos because it wasn't taught to me in the school. That's one thing. You know what I mean? Things like that. Yeah, and also I would love to see about. We get a chance about the aurora borealis. I wanted to learn about that.
Okay.
I didn't watch the crystal video, but I want to learn definitely about the inner earth, you know, as well.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Saken. So
No
I'll let you
problem.
answer.
All right. Cool. Yeah. We do have. If you haven't heard of it, we have Sabian family, Nwapian family, that produce material for young people, children, called temple babies, right? So Google and search temple babies, and they have many books and things like for the young children, because like you say, we are actually people of nature. And at one point when you were in tune, when we were in tune with nature, we could communicate and speak to various animals. And like, for example, we actually connected to the dolphins because they seeded the planet and they related to us. And if you're able to be in tune with birds and certain animals, and just not just animals but nature, you will be able to study them and see what's happening. So obviously, children are very innocent, and certain animals are very innocent too. So they're able to relate, and they use animals in the cartoons because they know that children love animals and they can relate to animals. But obviously there are agreeable ones and disagreeable ones too, so we have to be very careful. But yeah, check out temple babies that go into that, and some of the characters are telling you information about different beings, like you say, different extraterrestrial beings or different beings from other dimensions and so forth. And they make movies out of some of these characters, like we've already mentioned the Predator movie, and the Predator, which is a being from Andromeda. When they gave you like Ninja Turtles, there are many characters that they use. And animals, even if you look at most of the cartoon movies, they will use Nagaru voices in the background, like like Eddie Murphy playing the donkey in I think it's Shrek. And because they know that tone, that vibration of the Nagaru will captivate people's attention. But Yeah, there's some truth to animals that are used in cartoons, and you know, certain characters that relate to, you know, different extraterrestrials. Yeah, so check out Temple Babies once again, and they have a lot of products for children. Okay, let me go back to the question. So I was saying that presidents are selected and not elected because the master teacher, Panda Babylon, Dr. Malachi Zio, has taught us years ago that when you're saying politics, and that's why we don't really get involved with politics, because we know that it's really politricks, because you're given the impression that there are two sides that are opposing each other, but then it's just like they just take turns. And if you look at the things they do, the policies, etc., nothing really changes. And what it is that they make they make the public think that this is a democratic process, but really it's democracy, demon, right? So we say that presidents are not selected. I mean, they're selected and not elected because you have meetings and very powerful people that go to these meetings, like, you know, the meet the, you know, like the Bilderbergers, the Bohemian White Owl of brothers. And that owl, when you look at it, is the Order of the White Lodge, right? And this is all explained in the Leviathan books that I've mentioned previously. So they are, you know, they're beings that they meet, they have certain meetings that only the richest people or the heads of states or certain people are invited only. And obviously most people have come across the Bohemian Grove with Alex Jones and exposing what they do there. And that owl is where they actually are trying to appease the extraterrestrial overlords. And, you know, so they will go to that owl, and the owl represents a being that it's nocturnal, like it sees in the dark, it can turn his head around, you know, 360. It's able to basically represent Moloch, right? Which are these beings that are in the Bible become Malaika from the same word, the root word, and they were like giving praise, or they give praise to their overlords, who were really from like the Aldebaran star system and the Pleiadians, right? So, and Draconians too. So there are different types. And if you look at, you know, when you say dragon, the dragon, because we spoke about the dragon, and I'm going to, you know, read some more bits and pieces. When you look at that, it goes into Draconians, or the Dragonians ties into Draco, the Draco constellation. And when I said about the serpent, that's dealing with, because the VI is 6, yeah, in Roman numeral, 6 SIX. If you change the vowel A and put an E in there, you get sex, because pornography deals with XXX. And if you read the book of Revelations, it's talking about, you know, what this being is bringing, and it speaks about the harlot and that draconian. If you read, look at Strong's number 758, it's archons, which means ruler. All right, and these are the same rulers that were over Hitler. So what I'm saying is, when you see the people surrounding Donald Trump, is it a coincidence that he was at the Madison Square building and he was, you know, doing the same thing that Hitler was doing, and now you got Elon Musk doing the sign, which is controversial right now all over the internet. And a lot of people thought that they voted, but, you know, even when you saw the whole play between Trump and Biden, it was funny because at one stage it was like Biden is like losing his marbles. Everyone's saying that he's going senile, he's forgetting things and all that. But when, you know, when Trump came into power and he spoke, he was very alert, very sharp, he wasn't the same person that was acting. So obviously it came across like, this is some technology going on right there. So when I was saying about America, so America lost the war to Germany in terms of the people, all the brains came to America and basically kind of embedded themselves in the society. even down to people like Truman, who was the 33rd president, US president from 1945 to 1949. And yeah, I'm seeing you guys, I'm seeing all your questions. We're going to get around to them. And then you also had Eisenhower. Now, Eisenhower was in contact with extraterrestrials. You can Google this, yeah? And Eisenhower was the 34th president from 1953 to 1961. And most of the movie stars, most of the celebrities, and most of the people that are in America making money, they're either from Europe, as I said, from Germany, and even when you look at what took place with the wars, because now the tensions are rising in terms of the many wars going on, with Russia, with Ukraine. You can see the strategic placing of submarines and certain military bases around, as you said, looking at the executive orders. But we're like, okay, like I said in the previous video, all we want, right? If Trump is really for the black vote, as everyone's saying, the black vote got him in, even though we know like the decisions are made with these people in, we call them principalities in higher places. They say, like, if you look at Obama, people thought he was the black president. He was not the first black president. Again, these are all things the master told us a long time ago. The same Kamala, she was not really black. And like I said, Eisenhower was in contact with these extraterrestrials. And do you remember the bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima? There's a Netflix series called Oppenheimer, because it talks about the German I think it was German, Robert Oppenheimer. He's the one that worked on those bombs, and those bombs were very significant in terms of the world wars, and that type of destruction almost actually destroyed the entire planet. So extraterrestrial had to step in to warn them to stop doing that, and it's a kind of similar thing playing out again today. So you see the rumors of wars, you see what's going on with Palestine and Israel and Gaza and all of that. So you have a lot of aliens behind these beings that are the puppets, and they're just doing the bidding. And I mentioned before that this Nana, this Moloch, these beings that you see in your Bibles and your Quran and religious books, these are the entities behind the scene that these people in the richest people, the people in the higher places, they basically are trying to appease. And so you can see it all playing out now in terms of when you read the books of Revelation and you read like Genesis telling us about we will be a stranger in the land, and this Babylon, this is what you're talking about when you're saying America, to be honest, because you have old Babylon, which was, you had the different empires. You had the Roman Empire, you had the Greek empires, and now you call this one the New Babylon. And it explains, if I read like the book of Revelations, chapter 18, go and read it. After these, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. That's what I'm saying. When you tie it into pornography and fornication, you look at the morals of the society. Many like nations have bowed down. So when you're looking at what's going on with China, with North Korea, with what's going on with Russia, with America, and the people that are surrounding him in his administration, you can see that even things like we spoke about the war, and we spoke about like the mass deportations, so many things that he has said that people are concerned about. But I'm not going to read the whole of Revelations chapter 18. But I will jump to um, the last part where he's talking about, from 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying thus, with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, right? And shall be found no more at all, right? So this is that Babylon that's talking about is none other than America. And if you look at Revelation 18, 1 verse 1 to 24, you'll notice the number 24. So you see, like, and if you look at, why I say 24, because 2 plus 4 is 6. And you look at Malachi, right, chapter 4, verse 1 to 6, another 6. Note the number 6 for the end of their 6,000 year, which is talking about, like I said, Revelation. If you look at Revelation 18, you look 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. So going back to that, the prophecies of the Bible, book of Revelation, says no one's going to be able to buy or sell unless they have the mark of the beast. When you look at buying and selling, now you're mainly dealing with credit cards, and you look at a Visa card, VI stands for 6 in Roman numerals, right? The S is also a 6 because it represents Sigma, right? And these are the empires. And then the last A in the word Visa is, there's a system that is called Abjad, which gives values to the alphabet. So A is equals to 6. So when you're looking at Visa, that's VI 6, S is 6, and A 6. This is stuff the master teacher broke down to us many, many, many years ago. And it says on Malachi 4, verse 1 to 6, for I behold a day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud ye and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord. So the burn them up, the fire we're talking about, this is what everyone's saying global warming, and it's dealing with, the sun, right? Because the sun is that ball that is actually, causing some of these fires. And again, something we were informed of that was predicted by the master teacher a long time ago was the fires in LA. He said you're going to see cyclones of fires that are just going to rip through Babylon or America, and then you see it happening in LA. And of course, everybody is sympathetic and have empathy for anybody that goes through any destruction, and but the thing is that you have somebody that can help and warn people of what's coming, but instead of giving him prime time, he's been wrongfully incarcerated. And, he is that being referred to as the Son of Righteousness. Go back and read Malachi chapter 4, yeah? And I keep going. He says, that cometh shall burn them up, says the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son, S-U-N, of righteousness arise with healing in his, H-I-S, in his wings. So who's it talking about? We know that Malachi relates to Dr. Malachi Z.K. York, partner Babyanun. So that is telling you, but unto you that fear my name shall the Son, S-U-N, of righteousness arise with healing in his wings. And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And ye shall thread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes unto soles of your feet. And the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts. Right? And then he says, remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel with the statutes and the judgments. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, and that Elijah we know to be the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Now, if you know anything about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was saying after him, only God himself will come. And the person that will be coming is the person that, the nation should listen to and follow and go on to. And when we're saying son of righteousness and talking about the sun, we're talking about this new sun cycle known as the Aquarian age, where we're seeing the global warming, as they call it, and six ether is going to dissipate, and we're moving from that six ether energy force to the nine ether forces. And like I said, read the whole of the Revelations if you can. But if you look at what's going on right now in America, as you say, and the executive orders and the things that are being placed in place, and you look at, like I said, I was even surprised that the Joe Rogan camp kind of also caved in and fell into, because he mentioned when you watch the inauguration, he's talking about his son, Baron. And again, go and check out, these novels that were written a long time ago, and the characters in the novels were talking about Baron. But Baron was being mentioned because his father was saying how he got him to go on Joe Rogan and to go on all these shows. So Joe Rogan said he was never going to have him on there. So yeah, it was surprising when we saw him on the show. So everyone is just like rallying around him right now. And we're basically waiting and watching to see these prophecies unfold and the beast rising, as it says. And if you don't think, if you look at the anti, because the word anti, even though we would think it means to go against or go backwards, is actually a word that is broken down as being a replacement. So in Greek, if you look at Strong's number 473, it means to replace, not to go against. So the beast is here to replace the children of the devil. If you look at John 8:44, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in truth, right? Because we're dealing with truth now. So the beast doesn't deal with truth. All right, I'm going to keep doing this, but I'll stop and take calls because I want to get through this. Yes, Rahubat, greetings. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Rahubat, this Cali Monk from Los Angeles, California.
Hey, Rahubat, Kalimonk, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm not gonna hold up the live. So I was watching Predator last night, Predator 2, the one with Danny Glover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was wondering to myself, I said, why don't we link up with the agreeable ETs and kick some butt? Because they was kicking butt in that movie last night. They were kicking butt, so much butt. I'm like, man, if we had those guys on our side, we'll get back into power.
Guess what?
Yeah.
You're the agreeable
What?
ET. We are the agreeable ETs coming together to kick butt.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
No,
It's just a lot of
But they
people
had
haven't realized it yet. They're still
Right.
afraid. They're still like not sure. They're still wondering and waiting for someone to come and help them. But we are the agreeable
Right,
ETs.
yeah.
And Partner Babi Anun, Dr. Malachi Z, is that Michael that fought against the dragon. That's what I'm talking about today. The dragon and his angels. And they didn't prevail. They lost and they were cast down here. So we've come down here again to do another fight, another war, and this time to, eradicate for good.
So,
But what the beast? Sorry, go ahead.
No. So you actually seen the movie though, right?
Yeah, I've seen all of them, especially there's actually a latest version of a Predator movie that it's not called Predator, but it's on Netflix, but it has the same Predator being in it. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Oh, okay.
But check that one out. And the last Predator movie before, after the one you're talking about was showing you the Predator properly and fully. Like the first Predator, they were not really showing the Predator properly, but the latest ones, they show it properly. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So in the movie, it was a one part where the Secret Service agent, he was trying to capture the predator to try to get the technology and everything.
Yeah.
So the thing about it though is that I really believe that movies they're fictional, but they have a little bit of truth to it.
Oh,
Because I can
some of them
actually
are.
see something
Yeah,
like that
they are.
happening. Them, yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah, man.
like
I just want to know your insight on it.
some of these producers are they use the word inspired by these beings, and if you look at what's his name, George Lucas, and even what's the other producer, but he's definitely one of those beings that was in contact with with these beings, and some of these beings will project, as the master said. I can't remember which scroll it is, but he says they will influence them and project these stories telepathically to them, and then they will write the script and not realizing that it's these beings that are actually, using the
Real.
movies as mass media to communicate with people, but those who are in tune will pick up the messages in the movie,
Yeah.
and others will just look at it like it's
But
entertainment. Yeah.
right, right. But the one thing that I kind of observed in the movie, some of the technology that's coming out now, like especially the technology where you can cloak into, you can like
Right.
disappear. Like there's certain material that you can put on your body like disappear. That was in the Predator movie. That's
That's
how he
right.
was able
That's right.
to evade everybody and to basically have a upper hand on everybody because he had the cloak. And then it just recently came out, so that's like not a coincidence
That's
right
right.
there. So
Well, the master says anything you
yeah, it's
see
crazy.
that they show you on TV or that's made popular, they're 6 level deeper that you don't know about. So they
Yeah,
stagger the release of technology. So, like for example, if there's an iPhone 6 out now that everybody's using, there's already an iPhone 12, but because they need to
right.
make money and stagger it to the point where you know they will give
Yeah,
it, they drip feed you basically. They don't give you all the technology at once. It's only
yeah. They don't
available
show
to
you
the
everything, but
yeah.
yeah, man, they
Yeah.
have a lot of technology that they're not ready to release yet, but they
Sure.
do have it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right, man. Thanks for answering my question, bro.
No problem. Every time. Yeah.
All right.
So as I
All
was
right.
saying, yeah, we're dealing with now. We're living in a day and time of truth, because when the truth comes, all false things shall perish, and this is what we're talking about. That we're seeing the collapse of Babylon, right? Babylon the Great has fallen, and is falling. And if you look at America, it's in trillions and trillions of debt. And that's why fiat currency is literally worthless, and why now the crypto and the digital currencies are coming in. And coincidentally, what did he do? He launched his new meme coin, Trump, and he made billions, and the market cap was something like, if you look at CoinGecko or Coin Market cap, you will see that it was in like 7 point something billion, literally over a few days. But the point we're making is that a lot of people are waiting, thinking they're waiting for Christ, which Christ just means anointed. But then you have fakers who have added the word Tian to the end, Christian, and that Tian, if you look at it going the other way, is anti. So, as we always say, there's agreeable and disagreeable, and people are being bamboozled thinking they're waiting for a Christ or Christ consciousness or an anointing to be saved, but not realizing that they're being deceived, where they're going to be, given over to the Antichrist. So, as I was saying, John 8:44 is talking about you are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father he will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth. So it's not about the truth, it's about deceiving you. And I'll finish the quote and I'll come back to, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar, yeah, and the father of it. So people are waiting for Christ, Jesus, to return, yet they're being deceived. And what we're saying is that when you look at what is really going on and dealing with truth, like, how would you like somebody to pretend and lie to you and tell you one thing but do another thing? This is what I'm saying when it comes to these politics and what is played out in public, but yet in the dark, you know, they are making decisions and planning certain things, and you won't know this because it's all about lying. And people ask us, why do we do this and why are we so passionate and dedicated? And if you love our content and you haven't subscribed to OSM Vision, you should do that, because that helps us to spread the truth. Because we want to bring world peace, we want to bring harmony to the planet, we want to teach truth, which is all what we're about. And the master teacher, Partner Babyanun, that's why we do this. That's the motivation, because in life, everybody wants to know the truth. Nobody wants to be lied to. And he dedicated his whole life to teaching the truth and publishing all these books to wake you up. Because when you're not awake, you're asleep, you're literally what they call the walking dead, because you're not activated, your third eye is not open, you're not able to see what's going on and realize, real eyes, yeah? Use your real eyes to see what's going on in the world and the games that are being played. So a lot of people don't know that they're being deceived. So Revelation 12, verse 9 to 12 says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent. And I can hear people say, oh, why are you not touching and reading the Bible? Because even though we know that 90% of it is not truth, that 10% or maybe even 5%, it is embedded in there, because those truths have been taken from other prophecies and scriptures from, you know, ancient Egypt, etc., that dealt with alchemy and knew about these things. But let me carry on. And the great dragon, remember dragon, Draconian ties in to the serpent people. That's why in the Bible they call the person that was speaking to Eve to tell her about that God was telling a lie. The serpent told the truth, but they used the serpent for the S. There's a movie called World War Z. Right? If you haven't seen it, go and watch that. And the Z is 3 strokes, right? And it looks like a Z, but you can also see it as a S, because that deals with serpent, and it deals with the hiss or the whisperer, right? Because that's what it's really talking about, the dragon, the Draconian. Anyway, so it says, that serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, right? And by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So this is the short time we're saying that is almost over, a pretender replacement, you know, and people pretending to be Christ. And even Hitler was a Christian, but he didn't like, you know, the J word. And he was anti, to go against, or anti-Christ. And Paul, who a lot of the Christian world today follow, right? Because you know that the popes were set on the basis of Pope John Paul, the first, the second, etc. And you look at the word Pope, P-O-P-E, again, you can invert those P into 6s. And what we're basically saying, as I've said many times, you have true and sincere Christians, or people that want the anointing, the Christ consciousness, but then you also have those who are deceptive or deceiving you, yeah? And it's always a gameplay, so you have to know, are you on the right side or on the wrong side? And this is where the 9-6 or 6 ether versus 9 ether comes in. And so yeah, so let me look if there's anything else I can give you. But yeah, it's basically talking about being deceived by this Lucifer. And, you know, if you look at Isaiah 14:12, it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning, right? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? So the fake anointed one, you know, who is a cherub. Remember, you have seraphim, you have cherubim, because there's always the counteractive between the good and the bad, or what we say agreeable and disagreeable. And this anointed cherub, if you read Ezekiel 28, 1 to 9, look at verse 14, anointed cherub. That is the fake Christ, right? And where you get this whole the Paulites, or the Paul who was not even one of the 12 disciples. He was a self-appointed disciple that went against the true teachings, and they built the Roman Catholic Church based on him, who his only claim to fame was telling a lie based on, oh, he had a vision on the road to Damascus and all of that. And then he had his, people like Luke and his right hand men that just basically made up and wrote stories that have been added in as if they're authentic when they're not. So if you look at Ezekiel 28 verse 14, thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee, so thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Yeah, this fire, because he's got different types of fire. This is that Lucifer, the fire, right? And when you say walking up and down, to and fro, that tells you these fake Christians, not the real ones. All right, so you'll sit back now and you will watch and see that when you even say Germany, the germ man, we're going to see what's going on the planet, and everyone's going to be able to witness what the ramifications of the actions are going to be taken. So yeah, we're living in that day and time. I hope that answered that question. But you got to read between the lines, and look at the people around, look at who is because even like, yeah, as my brother calling from Los Angeles, we joke every week he calls, but I'm like, are you still in Lost Angels? You should be trying to get out where those fires and the catastrophes are taking out, because if you read the book of Revelations 18:2, it literally says, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, the great white whore of the world, with her pornography. And if you look at look at television, look at the media, it's all about that sex, 666. They're selling all kinds of sex pills on TV, sex toys, Viagra, and all this kind of stuff. And phone meter. It's all about the lust of the six evil forces. That's what we keep saying. Sex. Same thing. If you look at Revelation 18:2, it says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. So a lot of people who wish to live in the image of the beast, want to go and, basically be in a place where they're loose morals, people can do anything, there was that whole thing when they were dealing with this pornography, because that is one of the, if you read the book of Revelation, that's one of the things that he's talking about, porne, right? And, there was this Lily Phillips in, the OnlyFans. There's a website that a lot of people making money from, and there's an article that was saying how this Lily Phillips, she regretted after sleeping with over 101 men in one day. And that article, you can find that. It's on X, and, was around. I think she's even from the UK, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And this is why in Wu-Sabat we say, we don't push and promote having boyfriends and girlfriends, because a lot of people are affected by exchanging bodily fluids, where you're teaching young women, to sleep around, have boyfriends, have many dates, one night stands, go in, and it's just all about sex, 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 666. Then, once you've done that and have exchanged all these fluids and have all of these spirits and beings within you, you start to act up, because we have to do certain rituals in Wu-Sabat to help you get, back to normal. You're traumatized, you got all these personalities, and read the 30 spirits, a part of that called the 30 spirits. Soulmate is another one that goes into it, and explains that, you can't be living frivolously in terms of your sexual activities. And a lot of countries like North Korea, they ban things like genes and things that, push any type of American ideology. And even China at one point with the wall, and it's got its own internet, different versions of TikTok, because, in the West, they allow certain things, but when you look at their versions, they don't promote all of that, because it makes you vulnerable, But yeah, I mean, I hope that's answered that question. But there's so much more with this time period between now and 2030. But at the same time, it might sound, we're not preaching doomsday, but Wu-Sabat deals with the opposite to the lies, which is dealing with the truth. And truth is based on facts, is based on you checking out, researching things, and getting your mind correct so that you know what's what. Get those scrolls if you can get hold of them, because when you're living that way, you're able to then transform yourself to the point where you can receive your barothry gland. And this is where it talks about many are called, few are chosen, the 144,000. And, you can get that replaced if you make it, if you're one of those beings that has worked to perfect yourself. And that work is to do with saving lives, telling the truth to the world, saving humanity, and, just, basically going against the man of sin, going against the beast. And every single person has a part to play, so let's get to work. Pana Babyanun has dedicated his entire life to this, and that's why we do it, because when you're looking at the best example of, dedication, sacrificing for truth, teaching love, as in divine love, ashuk, just constantly battling against the devil to the point where, even giving, his life to the mission. And that's what makes us do what we do as well. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the chat. Is the master teacher, this is D. Shelton, is the master teacher representing source, planet risk, or something else? When you say representing source, the source is going to be the truth and, the Panatharu. So risk is just the planet where he happens to come from. So yes, he's representing truth, and he's there to cut up the lies and basically expose all the lies and give you truth. Okay, I am cloaked for, thanks Chris King. Okay, let's keep going. I don't understand why fam is incarcerated by this. Okay, that's from Ren, L-rated. You may not fully understand this. His incarceration has many, many complex levels to it, right? I'll give you a few. One of them was them thinking that they've got him, but he actually has them, because he had to be in a position where he was completely isolated to focus and give us the hereafter doctrine, to give us our language to complete it and write all the books that came out, which is what we refer to as the Hereafter Doctrine. So he needed that solitude, right, to get away from everything. And for a person who is a writer, you couldn't give them any better situation in terms of to be secluded, to be in solitude, and all he has is a pen and paper, and he has so much information to give. So that was one of them. The second one was, it's a test for us, a test to see that everything he has taught us all these years, we have learned, and that is love and unity, how to care, compassion, how to trust each other, how to work together. It's just like a parent leaving it that, their parents go, we're going to go on holiday, but before they leave, they install secret cameras in the house to see how the children will behave once they're gone. And once they're gone, the children, there will be some children who are going to be like, you know what, we need to keep the place tidy, maintain everything, make sure that when mum and dad come back, it's going to be all good. Then you have the children that are like, yeah, let's have a party, let's invite everybody, bring alcohol, do you know what I mean? Get zoot, whatever, parties, do all the, sexual stuff, whatever. And the parents are watching through the cameras and going, okay, I see which children are deceptive, that are liars, that will pretend, because you know what will happen, right? If the parents call and say, oh, we're on our way back now from the airport, then what? They clean up and get everything ready, and then the parents come in and they're like, oh, hi, acting all innocent, like they were not partying and doing all the things they weren't supposed to do. Meanwhile, the parents were watching anyway through the secret cameras or the CCTV. And now they know for sure who is who. That's another level. The test is for us to free him and to show that we have learned love, or what we call ashuk, which is divine love. And that's all he said. All that I need from you lot to free me, come together. So you got people, from the minute he was incarcerated, they just left. Some people just turned. When I remember on an old recording, he was saying, with all the truth I've given you and everything I've shown you, and I've proven myself time and time again, I've stood the test of time. I've stood against anyone on the planet, right? With all of that, if the Mukasu or the Caucasian or European lie on him and say, or whoever lies and says he was a liar, all that he taught was, don't believe him, a lot of people are just going to turn their back and leave, even with all the facts and confirmation. And that's exactly what happened. Many people ran, but we're saying, look, come back. All is forgiven. Come back home. It doesn't matter whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jew, whatever schools you were part of. We are all saying we love Parnabab Yanun and we're part of the same team and we want the same result. Come back home and let's all come together in love and unity. Spread Wu-Sabat, spread the truth, save as many souls that we can possibly save, and free him, and we'll be good. That's the one thing we've got to do, That one thing, that's it. Everything else will be good. So that's why, going back to your question, Ren L rated, we can do it, and we will do it. We have to just follow basic instructions, join our Telegram group if you haven't already done so, subscribe to, I see we're 90 something, well, we're nearly at the 100,000. We've got so much in store for you guys. So please help us. If you appreciate our content, just subscribe, hit the alert button, share the videos, like the videos, and the algorithm will help us reach more people. All right, I'm looking for Science of Creation. We have that in the store. You're in Los Angeles, right? Yeah, contact us, go in the Telegram group, and yeah, we have that. We actually have the Science of Creation, so we can get that. Love the vibes and teaching from Canada. Yeah, we're all over the world. Wu-Sabat to the world. Wu-Sabat's the future. Okay, let me go Too cold. Ghost. 2C. Where do women come into the picture? Where do they or where they who where do their origins come from? Well, women were here first. Their origins come from them being the original beings, the goddesses with the XX, and we are XY because of the defective X turning into a Y. And women in our culture are the goddesses, and they're the ones really. This is their day and time now, and this is why we're seeing a lot of change. And you will start to see more of their presence. And they were here first. I know some men like to, with their ego and not wanting to accept that, but yeah, the women were definitely here first. They spoke before we spoke. They spoke 54,000 years ago, and we came from them and afterwards. Yeah, that's who I was trying to remember. Steven Spielberg. Thank you. They alluded that Steven Spielberg is in contact with he was. I couldn't remember his name when I was saying George Lucas. That was the other person, Steven Spielberg. You look at all the movies that he was writing and putting out, it's because he was in contact with them, or they were influencing him. Okay, Pray, yeah, Sun Ra 999. It's called Pray, set in the 1800s. That's right. That's the one. Where can I buy your guys' books? You can, yeah, we post the links in the chat. How can you identify that an experience was an OBE from a state of consciousness? Is it, but is that OBE as in, or is that EBE? Okay. Yes, Kaiser. Hey, Rahubat. How you doing?
How bad, Baba Sakem? It's okay if I call you Baba.
Father, I'm a father, yes, so it's all good. Good.
Yeah, you know. Anyone that's learning from the master teacher is a father figure. We should, Father's Day is coming in the U.S. anyway soon, but we should be appreciating people that are like with our shook, a father that teaches you and learns, loves the children. That's how the creator everything should be. We all should be like that.
Yeah, that's what we should all be doing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he said, you talked about Eddie Murphy, Donkey, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you Donkey, man. From Shrek, yeah. Eddie Murphy. They make children's voices, right?
That's right. Another thing the master said is that even like the news, right? If you notice, they have a lot of Nagaru reading the news, even though things may be falling apart, and but the way they're composed and they're just calm and they make everyone think everything is okay because they have those tones, But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that's 100%. What's funny? It's very funny. It's no joke. In the movie Shrek, Donkey gets together with the dragon. He's a donkey.
Right.
And in the cartoon Shrek, when Donkey marries the dragon and they have children. So look at Eddie Murphy in real life. His wife is white, and he has 9 kids. And he's Donkey, and she's the dragon, bro.
That's
you
funny.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like because that's
hey, man, we don't want to get flagged and get all kinds of lawsuits. So we got to be careful.
It's the truth, it's the cartoon.
But yeah, what's your question, if you have one?
Okay, yeah, for sure. It came to me, but you remember you talk about the Darrow Tarot.
Yeah.
So I learned that aren't they extraterrestrials and they have a planet, cone heads, right?
Yeah.
So there's I remember I want to know more about extraterrestrial different planets because the cone heads, the planet they came from, I heard that their queen knows about the tarot that traveled here. And they're in Shambala. So what is it like for people that live in the center of the earth? Like, the city Shambala with all the crystals and all that.
Right.
I'm about to watch the crystal video,
Yeah.
but I want to kind of know like how can I use my crystal and how can I, be able to like manifest good things with crystals
Sure.
and able to communicate in the center of the earth. Like I want to get. Sometimes you want to just imagine if you're in the library there, or if you can go to our Akashic record library. And because the school over there, like we was talking about school earlier with teaching children, I believe they're very, very smarter if you got a library with all your answers you want.
Sure.
I wish I could learn that in school. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, I'm learning right now. I'm becoming a teacher, so I want to learn more about also.
All right. Tour.
Just in being mastering all subjects.
Excellent.
Right,
yeah. So a lot of the extraterrestrials that inhabited the planet, a lot have started to leave, and this ties into the sinkholes that people are seeing because recently, obviously, you saw, a lot of what they called drones and orbs, and now like a lot of crafts are appearing because of the different experiments. For example, the second experiment by CERN, who were warned by the Council of Nine not to go ahead with it, they did anyway, and open up, dimensions whereby, beings are coming in. But the beings in Shambhala, when you saw a lot of crafts coming out of the waters, and again, chaos is one of the best tools where they mix falsehood with real live, extraterrestrial crafts. And yeah, so Shambhala, there are many different types of beings, but a lot of them, as I said, have started to leave because of the threats of war and what could possibly happen to this planet if we don't come together. Because remember that everything is vibration, and now there's been some research where they're using frequency and sound to detect, because when we talk about, I saw somebody put in a comment about the planet, the weight of the planet being six sextillion tons, and we're basically saying that they're now using technology because people were like, the planet is not hollow, but there's a lot of information on the internet called the Hollow Earth, which deals with Admiral Byrd going into the center of the Earth, or Shambhala, and so on and so forth. So meeting these different beings. So there are beings that, with all the crafts coming from underneath, and Antarctica now, which has been blocked off, because remember that when we're dealing with frequency, everything is really energy and vibration. So if all the people on the planet are vibrating on a particular frequency, we can change the outcome, because the negativity or the six ether forces also are a vibration, and it's a matter of converting, which side are you on? Like the same thing we talk about, the foods and the spectrum of being alkaline or being acidic. You have the power to transform and change yourself. So yeah, a lot of these beings, you have like Sinclair, who's the leader of the Duanis, and he studies Shakespeare, and they're very, very intelligent. We're gonna do a video on the different extraterrestrials to carry on from the exposing aliens amongst us, because there are different types of extraterrestrials that have been living here for millions of years. Like Kaiser mentioned, the Tero, the Deros, the Duanis, the Danakil, the shaggy beings. You have the Flugorods. You have so many different types of beings, that the predator beings, the Procyon beings, and the Ashtar Federation. There's so many different types of beings, the different species of reptilians, the Markabians, the Draconians. You have, what people see as the Greys, but you have different types of Greys from different places. So you have the Greys that have no feelings, no emotions, and they're scientists, and all they do is experiment, just like how our scientists will take a lab rat, cut it up, do different experiments. And some of these extraterrestrials abduct and do the same thing with people, a lot of missing people. Yeah, so thanks for that. Let's keep going. Satan was supposedly one of the angels. Just like humans, we get cast out when we do something bad. the old books are talking about some type of human beings, not gods exactly. So these beings are here multiplying and having children and influencing people, and people are on that side. Watch the End of Days with, you know, the being Arnold Schwartz. Yeah. Research what that word Schwartz nigger means. They tell you all of these things in code. Okay, right, let's give out the number again. So to call in live, yeah, +44 UK area code 753 996 3882. So that's +44 753 996 3882. Right, you can call in live and ask your questions. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, somebody else said Science Source Creation is available at the Sabian store in New York. Yeah, go check out your nearest bookstore, because it doesn't make sense sometimes logistically to send books across the waters with the extra shipping when you can just go to your local bookstore and get it. Okay, everyone's welcome to join our official Wu-Sabat Telegram group, because that's where we keep everybody informed, as well as the alerts through the YouTube channel, all right? This channel is mind-bending. Thanks, Cypher. Angel the Babe. Yeah. Yep. Let's go. That was a comment. Yep. What is a wu-nuwapu? Do they believe what Christian believe? What the difference? Okay, let me answer that from Ronnie Love. No. Well, the first thing is we don't believe, right? We deal with facts, actual facts. That's why we have a whole series of books called Actual Facts, authored by the master teacher partner Bab Yanun Dr. Malachi Z. York. There's a big difference, because Christians, and I know somebody in the comment was saying that, but just do your research. That word was coined, Christian was coined in Antioch, and the person they refer to as Jesus or Jesus, which is really two Roman and Greek gods put together. Go and look at the image of Zeus. That's where you get Jesus or Jesus from. That term Christian was coined. He never knew that term, right? So there is no such thing as a Christian other than what came way after. And Constantine, which was an emperor, he was the one that made everybody a Christian. And as I said, you look at the word anti in front of that. Christ is separate from Christian. Christ deals with karast from the ancient Egyptian, because all the prophets, everybody went to Egypt. Everything ties to Egypt, and everything is black. When you look at Kush, when you look at Ethiopia, when you look at Ham, from the Kemet, from chemistry, because they dealt with alchemy. Yeah, so Jesus went to Egypt until he had to come back for his bar mitzvah. He came back at the age of 12, right? You had Moses was supposedly in a basket in ancient Egypt. This story became the story of Rome, because when you look at how you had Romulus, Remus and Romulus, who Rome, you can hear Romulus in Rome, he founded Rome and he killed his brother Remus. And this is where, again, you look at the story, it goes, all the stories of monotheistic religions go back to ancient Egypt. So Abraham went to Egypt. Joseph and his family ended up in Egypt. Everybody goes to Egypt. Why? Because this is where the stories are grafted from, to give them some type of validity and authenticity, or to make them authentic. So we're saying, like, if your name is not Michael, and you're walking down the road and someone's going, Michael, you're just going to continue walking. He never knew that term, right? So it's a made up term. Not only that, Christianity is 2,000 years old. Yeah, the Old Testament, what they call the Old Testament or the Torah, according to their scholars and experts, it's only 4,000 years old. So the entire what you're calling Christendom goes back only 6,000 years. And Islam is even younger with 1,400 years. So they're tiny in terms of looking at millions and millions of years ago, right? Where beings have existed on this planet. So yeah, this is not, that Wes Huff and Billy Carson, man. That's the Great White Hope. That's not going to work here because you can't expect a 2,000-year-old religion to be the being all when there are, like I said, many cultures that predate religion and predate what you're calling Christianity, yeah? The Mayans, the Zoroastrians, the Sumerians, the ancient Egyptians, the Native Americans. We can go on the Yoruba. All of these predate and have writings and culture way, way before Christianity was a New Testament, a renewed testament, trying to change from the Old Testament, telling you, oh, you can do this now based on Paul's writings. And Paul was a deceiver. He was a liar. He says that himself in his own books. So we don't play that game. And there's so many different scriptures or like fake scriptures, fake writings that are made to seem to be authentic when we know for a fact they're not. They're mixing the fake with the real. Excavations and tablets, Sumerian tablets, many tablets in Iraq, ancient Babylon have been found. So a lot of information has been revealed. And even that, if you search what's the oldest Bible, you're going to come up with the Codex Sinaiticus, right? Someone's ringing me on my other phone constantly. Which the Cus or the Tis, when you see like Atlantis or Sinaiticus, and you got the Vatinicus, which is dealing with the Vatican's version, the us at the end, US, or the TIS, this dealing with Greeks, right? So yeah, we don't play that game. We go millions and millions of years before what you're calling Christianity. So yeah, let's just keep moving with actual facts. Yeah, thanks. Two people have now given me that livestock professional farmer. Yeah, the Predator movie is called Prey. It was done in 2022. It was taken back in time, 1719, Comanche Nation in the plains. Yeah, go and watch that, man. That's a really good movie. Yeah, the entertainment industry deals with, like you say, the whole star thing is to be starstruck and to be given a star, right? So you fall under the Lucifer, the morning star, which is dealing with, you see all the craziness that's going on and it's now being exposed with all the, the sexuality and all the kind of crazy stuff that they do. See what other questions we have. How much of the King James version of the Bible is fake? Actually, all of it is, because you're reading a translation, a mistranslation, in fact. And when you're reading it in the English, there are lots and lots of mistakes, which is why it doesn't make sense with a lot of the plurality, plural, becoming singular, and people get confused. And you think it's a place somewhere in heaven when it's a lot of the times you're dealing with places on the earth. But if I had to give it something, like I said, because some of the truth of things are embedded in there, 5 to 10% max. But like you said, it's a version. For those who don't know what a version is, it's like a remix of a remix of a remix. Excuse me. Right, man. Thoughts about tarot cards, readings. I mean, you say thoughts, you have to ask a question. Some people have the ability and gifts to predict things and to have readings, and some people are affected by extraterrestrials, like we said with the movies, who influence you and give you a few wins and give you a few things, but really they will deceive you eventually in the end. This is the same thing that happens when people get certain types of visions, and these beings will influence them telepathically or visually in their visions, pass themselves off to be, angels and gods, and give them certain information and have them believe in them, and then, they'll swear blind. Jesus came to me. You had a projection, a hologram, and that's what I'm saying. These extraterrestrials have such technology that they can trick your mind, just like the illusionist or what people call magicians can do in front of your face. You will swear blind. You see something that's not there. Yeah, 100 in a day is crazy. Can you imagine? That's going back to what I was saying about I think it's Lily Phillips, or the woman that slept with so many men. And imagine all that DNA and all that. You know what? The master teacher has broken down and taught us that when you exchange bodily fluids with someone, because men are external beings and women or females are internal, they take things in. So it affects them more than it does us, even though they do have a menstrual cycle that helps to clean them out. But certain things will be in them for a very long time. And it can take up to like 7 years for you to get rid of, the DNA and everything that you've exchanged with a partner. This is why sometimes when somebody has a relationship and ends and then goes into another one without really waiting enough time to really cleanse, when they have a child, it can look like the previous partner, and it can cause issues. This is the three-parent birth coming into play that the master teacher taught us as well a long time ago. Yeah, so we're basically telling you that in Wu-Sabat, there are certain rituals and certain things that we do. Again, we have to make it clear we don't get involved with any type of sacrifices to do with blood, a person's hair, and like all these types of things, giving, things to appease beings and stuff like that. We don't do that. So, but there are rituals we do where we cleanse, and the master gives us those jewels, but you only know that and get involved with that when you're on the inside, not from the outside. Okay, we got another caller. Hey, Rahubat, who's calling? What's your name? Where you calling from? What's your question, please?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Claudia and I'm calling from Florida.
Greetings.
Yeah, greetings to you. I think I actually typed out a question, but I don't think it was typed properly. So I decided to call.
Okay.
And my question is, if you are meditating and doing your breathing and you happen to venture into a different dimension, how do you know, how would you know whether it was an out-of-body experience, which I used as OBE, or just a state of consciousness? Because when you're meditating, sometimes your consciousness can get down to vibrate down to the level of metal or alpha level. So how do I know that I was just I was out of my body, or it was just a state of consciousness? How would I know? That's my question.
All right, no problem. Yeah, so the out of body experience is, especially if you're astral projected, is you will be actually aware of movement. So, people will tell you that they were flying, they were looking back down, or they were seeing things that, for example, you would look back and see your own body lying there, or you may be able to travel like above, your house or something, and look down, and you're kind of, it's like you're aware of what you're doing. Meditation, in contrast, is more like a state where you're not there, but like you say, I'm trying to see how I can explain it. So it's kind of more mental, more, yeah, okay, let's explain it this way. So you have different realms. And we've explained about you have 9 realms, the 9 being the highest, which is the 9 ether is highest in terms of where you can, it's the highest you can get to. And within each of these realms, you have different dimensions. And some dimensions you are able to also create in real time. And some people will go, and when I say the dimensions, there are so many levels of the dimension. Like the master explained to us back when we were going through the schools of religion that, you know, you will have, like, in simple terms, you will have what we call nasut in Arabic, then you'll have malakut, and then you'll have lahut. Nasut will deal with the nas, the realm of the humans or the mortal beings. Malakut or malakut is the realm of what they will call the angels or the malaika, all right? And then you'll have lahut, which is dealing with the supreme beings, the highest beings. And so with that dealing with those realms, and then you will have the planes. The planes are like the dimensions, and there are different planes within the different realms. The way I explain it a lot of the times is saying, like, if you imagine that you have the different realms and then you have a variation of colors. So let's say the realms were like red for the lowest, yellow for the, let's say the second level up, then the green being the top one, and then eventually we'll go into darkness or supreme balance. And it's the same when we're looking at the physical world. Then you have the plane of force, the spiritual, you have the mental or the soul realm, then you have the mental realm, and then you keep going to the finer ether realms. And I'm saying that each realm has a different, in terms of like what you, like here we have a bodysuit or skin suit, which is conducive for this environment. Now, if you were in the spiritual realm, you have a different suit made up of the elements of that realm. So you won't be able to do certain things like how here you can run and move, and you have your, you know, you have time and, you know, matter and space combined. Whereas in the other realms, the rules are different. So I'm saying that to say that when you're meditating, you can go to the mental realm where your body's down there, but you've actually meditated to the point where you're just pure mental, as opposed to go into a realm like above this one, which you're still kind of conscious and able to move. And as you said, even within the physical realm, coming out of your body, but you're still able to see. And, you know, many stories of people that have out of body experiences when they're in hospital and they're being operated on, and they can look down and see the doctors and everyone and everything that was going on. They're very much aware of what's going on. Yeah, I hope that helps, because that's kind of the way I can differentiate the two, where one is you're still very much aware in terms of the consciousness, and you're traveling to places and you can interact and see things. And there's another one where, unless you're in that realm, it's like you may not be able to envision a realm where it's just mental. Everything's just mental. There's no, yeah, I hope that's helped. And then at the higher levels where you become a part or a union with what we call the all expanding or Pa'ut. And it's like trying to explain things to people on the physical realm, where, like, say, trying to tell you about a color that doesn't exist here, but in that realm you see the color. Now, when you come here, you try to tell somebody, you can't say it because they can only relate to the colors of the spectrum, the visible spectrum. Yeah, so the visible spectrum is very limited, but yet there's a wide spectrum of colors that you can't see here. But when you go into that dimension, you can see those colors. And when you come here, you can't explain it. or you can attempt to try and draw it. And this is another misconception where someone may visit a dimension within the realm, and they come back and tell everyone I went to heaven, and they will only describe that dimension, whereas they didn't go to the other higher dimensions, and somebody else will go to another one and they will try to convey it. And sometimes it can be misleading because they just view where they've gone to as being heaven or hell, especially if they go to the lower abodes and experience ghouls and specters and beings that are vibrating on negative or lower realms. All right, I got another call, so I hope that helped. Hey, Rahubat, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
My name is Fredison. I'm calling from Houston, United States.
Rahubat.
Yes. I wanted to ask about the issue of racism and the Hebrew Israelites, because I've been confused about that, and I'm like, where did I come from? You know.
Okay. All right. Uh, is that it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, racism, which is dealing with race. When you look at the word race, it's almost like you're running a race, and then you have what people are considering, different types of people. And racism was something that was concocted or created by way of competition, and for one race to think that they're better than the other. And so really, we as Musbatu or Sabians of Wu-Sabat, we don't really deal with racism. We're about uniting. And this goes back into the whole thing with these beings that came from the Aldebaran star constellation, which, as I said before, they were in contact with Hitler. They were blonde hair, blue eye beings, and they're the ones that created what we're calling the Adamites, which later on, on the planet, the main races, like based on what scientists or anthropologists have classified people to say, that, initially it was black and white, or they were looking at the white race as being superior based on this thing with these Pleiadians who were blonde hair, blue eyes, and they got Hitler to try and create what they call a supreme Aryan race. In terms of the Hebrew Israelites, because they follow a lot of the King James version of the Bible, and because when you start to do the research, and during the like the civil rights, during the times where the slavery was taking place, and blacks, so-called blacks, were not allowed to, they were looked at as being less than human, and the word ham was, they were misinterpreting the curse in the Bible as black people being cursed, but when you read it, it actually says it wasn't Ham, it was going to be Canaan, cursed be Canaan, but Canaan is a son of Ham, and Ham means black. So they got it wrong. It was actually the curse of leprosy, which deals with the recessive genes of not having to produce melanin. So, till this day, there's been a lot of racism because the black and white thing, but that was just something set again by some of these extraterrestrials to have people fight against each other. So the Hebrew Israelites, recognizing all these words like Cush, Ethiopia, Ham, some of the other ones I can't probably remember, they all mean black, because the origins of the Bible is dealing with these Anunnaki and them mixing with the original African beings who were the first on the planet. So now, scientifically, when people start to search and look at that in terms of genetics, that what they're calling the Negroid is more superior in terms of melanin production. Even when you look at the sports, the music, basically everything on the planet, they excel. And so people like, Hebrew Israelites and certain, remember this comes from by way of religion, a lot of religion causes divisions, and so they've got that ego thing of being superior. And I saw videos on YouTube, even in America, where the way they treat other people in the streets. So we, even by way of the Nation of Islam, where it came to this whole thing with, like looking at the nature of what they call a white man, even though there is no such thing as a white man or a black man. This is what I'm saying, that it's a social construct to have people fighting against each other. And in the old schools when we were teaching that, but if you look at the nature of a person, when they do wickedness, evil, and even till today now, when we're coming back to what we're talking about, where, with the executive orders that somebody asked about earlier on, how some people have called aliens and all these divisions, like somebody would take water, the seas, and divide them up when there's no divisions in the sea, and say this is the Red Sea, which was originally called the Reed Sea, and this is the Atlantic, and this is the this, and divide up the land and divide up resources, and say some people can't have this and some, and it's, the racism is all a part of religion as well. That's where it really originated from. So we as Wu-Sabat, we have the slogan, no one wins the race in racism, because racism doesn't actually help anybody. And so we are about coming together, uniting on truth. And if you're someone that accepts Wu-Sabat and you're willing to learn the truth, everyone is welcome. So yeah, we don't really deal with religion. Is there somebody else waiting?
No, just a couple of questions on WhatsApp.
Okay. Okay, cool. Wow, we got loads of questions. All right, let me just go on and read that one out.
It says, can you explain a bit about lodges and what they teach in them? Did you say all we have to do to help him is to get together? Can you explain further, please? What should each of us be doing right now to help in the best ways possible? Thank you.
Great question. Okay, so when we say lodges, you're dealing with the brotherhood, and you're only going to know anything about the brotherhood when you're part of the brotherhood. And lodges are just like, let's say different chapters, different, because you have brotherhood and you have the sisterhood. This is where certain information and certain secrets are conveyed. When you look at the word secrets, you see secret, and not everything is going to be available to everyone, because you have to be in order and prove yourself to be trusted and worthy before you are entitled to those. So the first step is, as I say all the time, first step is to, start to read, research, go to your local jurisdiction, whether it's online or, in your local vicinity, physically, get involved and help out. Bring whatever skills you've got. You can help out in so many ways. You can help out in spreading the truth, the knowledge. You can help out in many donations in terms of the events and the legal efforts and things that we're doing. But you have to come close. Just like with anything you're going to get involved with, you need to research any organization, anything you get involved with, research it, get to really know, don't go by hearsay, and then you work your way and learn about the master teacher, learn about what he teaches, read some of his work, and then you'll be much more informed of what you're getting into, and you're doing it from the heart, and not looking at it like a fashion or a fad that you're following. You have to confirm that to yourself inside out. All right. So come closer, join the Telegram group, ask questions till you're satisfied and your heart will speak to you. Your ancestors will guide you. So that you can then turn yourself inside out, get to know who you are, and you will start to learn about your purpose, your aim. I think we dropped a video on how to become successful, which teaches you about living truth and living your truth, living, well, the truth, shall I say. Okay, is that someone else? Hi, Kaiser, again. I think this is like your third or fourth call today. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, hi Sakem.
Yeah.
Yes. You welcome in my frequency, bro.
Uh, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, we are always connected as you know what I was thinking about. Sometimes if an alien came to the planet,
Yeah.
what when he sees a lion and when he sees a human, what does the alien see? What do you think does the extraterrestrial see when he sees that?
Yeah,
That's
again, it depends on which extraterrestrial. And the thing is, this is why we need to act and behave like, because if you see someone acting the clown or acting the fool, not acting intelligently, then the alien might think that, yeah, the lion is the one to go to. And you know, that's what the master said, that we can't be behaving beast-like and expecting. That's why when aliens come, they're like, take me to your leader. They want to talk to someone that's in power, has responsibility, and can actually make decisions.
He said he didn't ask his question, so he's going to ask it now.
Okay. All right, no worries. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You didn't. Nadum. Sorry, as we say. Go ahead. What's the question? You didn't ask.
wait. Yeah, I was just speaking with you. Yeah, I was gonna say I think it thinks that we are all earthlings. We're all. It
Right.
doesn't matter,
Yeah. Yeah.
lion
Sure.
or human. That's an earthling, you know.
Right.
I heard. I vibed with that when I heard that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
I'm thinking about like imagining. What is your perspective on that? So I'm imagining. So I seen and I watched. I was thinking about how in the higher dimension we're gonna be when we get picked up on the crafts on the Nibiru, the crowns. We will have to be learning. We're gonna be children after the Shar has passed. So it's like me and you, our bodies is being controlled like a car by our souls, right? So then in the higher realm, we're gonna be like it back in school again. And that realm, that's the realm that they're able to create a whole different entire universes by the children. But that child could be 1,000,000 years old. So that was one very interesting topic. I wanted to know if you know what I'm talking about by that, because
Tua.
basically that's what we have to learn for 1,000 years, but that will be one day. So Tua, like, yeah, what do you know
Yeah,
about
sometimes your
that?
questions are very like, yeah, they're very convoluted. But let me try and answer, because we've got so many questions to get through. Yes, of course, we are babies in terms of our development and the fact that we don't use the full capacity of our brain. And if you're using less than 10%, can you imagine what you will do by knowing and having access to the other 90%? So yes, we are the children of these Natharu and other beings, depending on who you are. And yes, like we say, one day is like 1,000 years to them. When you look at, I think it's Second Peter's. So to us, and the time, 1,000 years to us, in our using our time zone, may seem like a very long time, because you're thinking about the rotation of the planet around the sun, which takes, a very long time to get to 1,000 years. But when you come outside of this and you're traveling at the speed of light, then a light year, or that type of speed, means that you can cover a lot of distance in very short periods, which would literally like just take a few hours. So yeah, we are babies, and we need to be taught, and this is part of the teaching, by starting to exercise your brain, studying, reading and putting into practice the doctrine of Wu-Sabat. Right, I really do want to keep the questions short now, so when you call, please make your questions straight to the point and direct, so we can get more questions in. Hakim Shahada, what does your personal diet consist of, and do you have a workout regimen? Well, I'm a vegan, so it literally consists of no dairy products, um, vegetables, basically no meat, no fish, um, no try not to eat too much starch, no white stuff, no white bread, no white flour, no white sugar, no, etc., etc. Lots of water if I can. I do get lazy sometimes with the water, but yeah, I need to drink lots of water. The workout, yeah, workout is not really, a lot of people overdo it. They go to the extremes. You have to remember that basically you do a lot of stretches, breathing. The stretching is good because, okay, that's actually a good point. When you look at your body, you have to study your body as the master teacher has asked us to do. Breathing exercises. You have, and this is in our book, Fast Track. We don't have it here today, but Fast Track your spiritual and conscious journey, because there are diagrams in the book that shows you the different system within your body. So how energy flows around your body, and you have many joints, right? And sometimes those joints need to be released for the energy to flow better. So the stretching and the certain movements to basically release, because you look at your body, you have your ankle, you got the joints, you got your knees, you got the joints, you got the hips, and the same with your arms, you got the wrist joints, the arm joints, the shoulder. So it's a lot of releasing energy to flow, and the stretching helps with that. Yeah, I do. I have sometimes do the press ups, sit ups, and things like that. Yeah, so I hope that helps you. And I'm not the type of person where I beat myself up about the diet. So, for example, I do my best like everyone else should do. But if I'm in a situation where I don't have any alternative or any choices, and I happen to eat something that I wouldn't normally do just to be polite or whatever, then I will find ways to eradicate it by cleansing and so forth. So I just get right back on. Don't be like, oh my gosh, I've sinned, I'm going to go to hell. No, it doesn't work that way. So yeah, vegetables, nuts, and pulses. All right. Okay. All right. Someone was calling me on WhatsApp. That's okay. Right. Let's go in the. Yeah, some of these questions people will be asking, like in the 15th dimensional time matrix, 5 density universes, DU, where planet risk consciousness is, that's it. We have to, excuse me, we have to know that. Let's deal with the basics and things we can quantify for ourselves here. Let the master teacher, or if you happen to make it to get to risk, you will find out for yourself. But let's try and keep it within the realms of what we know and what we can, quantify for ourselves by way of evidence, reason, and experience. Other than that, we're just speculating about things that only he told us about. And now everybody tries to speak about it like they're the expert on it, when you have to wait. Get the master out and we will get everything we want and get to know so much more that he's asking us. And if you feel you would like to support us, with any donations or anything like that, that will help us continue to do the work we do, we'll be much, much grateful for that. Okay.
TNT Artistic Movement just said, wait, is this live? Like we can talk to you right now. So just let them know that you're...
Yeah, of course. We're live. That's what we call it. If you look, it says live at the top. Live chat, live everything. So, yeah, call in. We give you the number again if you want, and you can call in live. It's in the chat. Protect the children, women, and the elderly. That's our man's job. Make life good for them. That's true, 100%. Okay, what do these questions got to do with the salvation of the soul? Oh man, I hear you, Sun Ra. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes we don't focus on the here and now and what we need to do right now. We want to talk about aliens and planet risk and so forth, when we're not even doing the basics. So yeah, I agree with you on that. Okay, so
We've got a live caller.
okay. Hey, Rahubat live caller. What's your name? What's your question? And where are you at?
Oh, I am Dorinda from California.
Oh, you're right. You called last time. I remember. Yeah, Rahubat.
Yes, I thought the ancestors were too busy reincarnating. Yeah, that was me. Um, so I have a question. What is so special about the melanated, people that the other races have to watch us so hard and make sure they keep us, down? What's so special about us?
We're gods. We're the gods everyone's looking for. And it's a love-hate relationship because they want to be you, but they're not you. And instead of, like it says, honor your mothers and fathers so that your days shall be longer, it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of a jealousy, love-hate relationship because we're the most loving people and have contributed so much, and we don't really promote, chaos and wars and the barbaric natures. But remember that when you go back to look at the Adamites' creation, they mixed the DNA with Homo porcine, Homo canines, and Homo simians. So those animal natures is what comes out through because it can't be helped. It's just the nature. It's like a tiger is a tiger. It does what it does. If you take a tiger from its normal, habitat and put it in a zoo and then cage it up and then somehow you put a child or someone in that cage and it's hungry, it's gonna eat. It's not thinking about, so what I'm basically saying, the natures is where the clashing comes in because it's almost like just the nature but the guilt as well, because when you look at through history and what they have done to other races, they fear that we would do the same back if we were the ones in reverse. But that's not really our nature. Our nature is about love and unity and harmony and peace, and that's what that's what it's about. But it's like cheating in a race. If you're not, if you know you're not gonna win, it's like let me try and cheat. Yeah, so that's what it is. I hope, and it goes back to the Bible as well. All the chaos goes back to the Bible in Genesis when it's talking about the enmity is going to be put between the woman seed, which will be the Eve, and the serpent. Excuse me. Yeah, so that's what it is. It's that hatred, that love-hate relationship. Okay, we got another question.
Yep. This question's from an earlier
Excuse me.
caller. It
Yeah.
says, "Who are the 144,000, and what is the mark of the beast?"
I kind of went through the mark of the beast already. The mark of the beast comes in many flavors. It comes with, as it's spoken of when you first come across that in the books of Revelation, it explains what the beast is, it explains what the mark is. The mark can come in different forms, and we have an actual fact called image of the beast, which goes into it in more detail. But it talks about you not having the ability to buy or sell, which relates to money. And it talks about you having a chip inserted on your hand, on your right hand, and your forehead. And I already explained that when it comes to buying and selling, you're dealing with credit cards, and the Visa logo, actually the VI is 6, the S is 6, and A is 6, which deals with that mark of the beast. It also tells you that it is his number, and it's the number of a man. And then you start to look at people's names and break them down. In the past, I gave you Ronald Wilson Reagan, which if you look at the name, Ronald is six letters, yeah. Wilson is 6 letters, Reagan is 6 letters. And why I mention him, because he sanctioned Anton LaVey for the Church of Satan, because it tells you when I was reading the quotes that the devil, that's Satan, right? And you deal with beings that practice, they say they practice satanic practices. They're Satanists, and they worship, this beast, and the image is looking like, if you look at, the way people look, how they dress, the things they do. So the 144,000, as is spoken of, are going to be those people that have washed themselves clean in the Lamb, and they're like in white, which represents purity. And it's about what we're doing here, is, on Wu-Sabat, is teaching you how to clean yourself inside out, so you can be like a bride that's going to the wedding with the bridegroom, sorry, bride and bridegroom. So it's all symbolic, but it's talking about that, because a wedding, the woman would normally wear white, which represents purity. And so those that make it, the ones that are actually not being bitten by Dracula or these Draconians, these reptilians, these beings that are helping bring about this, this mark of the beast system, they're the ones that will be purified, and they're clean, they're vibrating on a particular consciousness, and they can then have the reward of wearing the crown of life and having their barothry gland reinserted, which gives them access to their full brain capacity. And then they will be responsible and given jobs to teach and to help save as many people as they can. So, but at the same time, with everything that is taught, you have the counterfeit, or the something that will counteract the positive. So you also have these extraterrestrial beings that have come, like in the movie the Fourth Kind, where they came and abducted 144,000 people for food, and have been doing so for a very long time. So the 144,000 is symbolic, it's dealing with actual events, and it's dealing with future events. So by symbolic, what I mean is that if you add up the number 144, you get the number 9, which deals with the 9 ether, all right? That deals with 9 consciousness, 9 mind, 9 reasoning, where you're operating at the highest level. So like I'm saying, we could really give you so much information regarding the 144. It also relates to the different tribes. I hope I've given you enough anyway, but join the Telegram group, attend our classes, keep asking questions, because we have different teachers and they will give you more and more pieces than what I may have left out, So that's why we say this is a constant Wu-Sabat. We're live now, but we're live every day on the Telegram group. We're live on the Saturday classes. We're constantly just giving you content that, imagine having such a place where any day, anytime you got a question, you just go, oh yeah, OSM Vision, ask us anything. And you go on your Telegram and you just ask us. No one on the planet is giving you that type of accessibility. Like you have to wait till Sunday to go and listen to the same boring sermons you've been hearing all your life. You can't ask them any questions, or if you do, they say you're a troublemaker, you're blaspheming, and you can't ask those questions, because you'll be like, is God awake right now? Is he working today? Do you have his telephone number? Can we call him live? let's call him and ask him some questions. You don't get that opportunity. So, Wu-Sabat is OSM Vision, ask us anything, and that's why more and more people are waking up around the world. And we are working 24/7, and we need more hands on deck. So yeah, join our community, join the Telegram group, subscribe, hit the alert, and you got more call? Okay.
Question.
Okay, go ahead. I'm not getting through these ones, but this is why you should call in, because the callers get
This one's from the chat as well.
Okay,
but I've
priority.
seen them asked a couple times.
Yeah.
Can Sabians have hobbies?
Of course, absolutely. Like, I need to explain that. We are normal people. Like, we have professions. We have doctors, lawyers, accountants, creative people, plumbers, name it, we've got it, right? We have, and that's a good point, because some people don't know the difference from a hobby and a career or something they're wasting their time. Like, a lot of like the music, trying to be famous, and I'm gonna be a famous actor. This is chasing that dream, that star that we spoke about, right? Music and things that you do for hobby is fine. The master teacher said we can be creative, we're songwriters, we're producers, we're musicians. Yeah, so most definitely we can sew, knit. We have many things that we can do, yes, so you can have a hobby. Not a hobby that, you might think, as in a partner, like, no boyfriends and girlfriends, just, But yeah, you got another one?
Always.
Okay, go on then. Let's
What
go.
is the mystic chords of memory?
The mystic chords of memory.
That's all it says, yeah.
Again, if you give us a reference where you're getting that information from, maybe we can then, answer the mystic chords of memory. I mean, I'm gonna be just like speculating and guessing. If it's from one of our scrolls, right? In fact, yeah, we have to kind of teach people how to ask questions. And what we say is, if you're reading a scroll, you're going to come across information that you're like, I need someone to explain this a bit more because I don't get it. Then you call and you say, oh, I'm reading scroll such and such. I'm reading, soul and spirit. On page 5, verse 3, it says blah, blah, blah. Can you explain it for me? But when somebody just goes on the internet or on YouTube or wherever and they get someone else giving them information and then they come and ask us, and we're like, okay, give us something, like where's the reference? Because if it's not our information, then you should be asking the person that's putting that out. Memory, mystic, yeah, I can't help. You have to ask the person to be more specific or clear.
They just said Abraham Lincoln.
Again, you see what I mean? It's like, what's the question though?
I'll give you a different one though.
Yeah, because I can just say Stevie Wonder. It's like, okay, cool, all right. We know Abraham Lincoln was part of what they claim, like the abolition of slavery. But when you start to really study slavery, it was dealing with, yeah, like blood and then needing the blood. And he was part of that, because it ties into vampires and ties into a lot of things. So when you just say a name, it's quite broad, let's narrow it down so that we can really answer the question. All right, go ahead.
This one says, in the scroll Melaninite Children, Michael Jackson is mentioned as possessing at one time melanin in high doses like the Denarchio.
Yeah.
Was he an ET?
No, he wasn't an ET, but what that is relating to, and it also ties into the question that the sister that called in asked, is that it was explaining that if you look at the original Michael Jackson from the Jackson 5, he was a full Negroid with they say nappy hair, but we call it crownly hair because it's dealing with the crown and the woolly hair that, the Bible described Jesus as having that woolly hair. And he had melanin and he had big lips and big nose and the things that the beast made to look bad in terms of, that racism, teasing you for having a big nose, but then later realizing that having a big nose is you got bigger nostrils to take in more oxygen to subtract the nutrients from the air, right? Yeah, air does have those nutrients, and so it was demonstrating how you can go from black to what you call white by losing your melanin. And he kind of became a Caucasian with the straight ether hair, thin lips, thin nose, and literally his nose was just disappearing every day and very pale. So the master was explaining how you can become recessive in melanin to go from someone producing melanin in abundance to someone that is recessive genetically in melanin. So, and you're dealing with neuromelanin, you're dealing with proteins, you're dealing with all the things that you need to be healthy, and you kind of diminish it, you become an albino. And then, you're more susceptible to diseases and all kinds of stuff. So that's the point. He wasn't an extraterrestrial, but what he also did, if you look at, he was following Quincy Jones. who was like the Pied Piper in terms of the music and leading people astray with, you know, everyone trying to be like Michael Jackson because he made lots of money, was very popular, but how many people are successful to the level that he was? So you had a lot of people wasting their life. That's what we were saying, that music or certain things are meant to be hobbies, and a few people will make it to that level of stardom, and everyone else then spends the rest of their life trying to, you know, imitate that, and then they never make it and waste their entire life when they may have been a neuroscientist or a surgeon or something that if they put their mind to, instead of, you know, believing and hoping and dreaming on a star, you know. So yeah, that ties into that, how he led a lot of people astray. As much as we all loved, you know, his music, like the master put it, he had a lot of people wasting their time with Billie Jean and all that. All right, there's just so many questions. What I'm gonna just do is, what I'm gonna do is look at the ones that are not paragraphs and then answer those. Because did you all see what's happening right now in Congo? Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like a lot of things that are going on in Africa and Congo and so on, they don't really televise and tell you. But for the sake of the resources and the cobalt and the minerals and things like that, a lot of things are going on that they don't tell you about. I listened to the master teacher by mistake on YouTube and can't unhear what I've heard him teach. 100%. That's another good point, because anyone who has ever heard the master teacher or come in contact or read any of his scrolls, there's an impact that it has on you that will never leave you, regardless of whether or not you leave it and never, you know, come back to it till 20 years later. That impact, that effect, that DNA explosion that happens will never leave you. What is your take on reality? Is it a virtual reality, like Tom Campbell's theory suggests? Yes, to a certain degree, because it's an illusion, because things appear a certain way, but when you go into detail and break them down, they're actually completely different. So what you're seeing is different densities and different arrangements of atom held together at different densities. So you can actually like see through the dimension if you kind of like stay still, meditate, etc. You can literally get to a stage where you can look at things around you and you can see the atoms vibrating. So in that sense, it is an illusion. Also, when you look at how your eyes see things and the fact that you're limited in terms of the visual the visible spectrum, and that you're really looking at light being reflected, and then you have, if you see the way the eye works with the lenses and everything, the image is upside down, and then your brain has to figure out what you've programmed in your subconscious to say this is a book, because you were taught that is a book and that's an image of a book. So yeah, that's John Cotton, that's your question.
I've got a long one for you.
Okay, gosh.
I'm just going to read the whole thing out.
All right, go on then.
Thank you so much. I was diagnosed with diabetes in 2013 and misdiagnosed as type 2, and realized later in life I was misdiagnosed. 2020 it got really bad, and basically since then my health slowly has been declining with many underlying issues because of misdiagnosis. So I stumbled upon this literally last week, and everything I've learned from this channel is what I feel I've been waiting for. Even speaking on gifts, I've always known I can dream walk, to a point where I shot a whole drama series due to vivid dreams. Yesterday, my wife and I, watching one of your videos, we realized she can see people in different realms. So firstly, I'm saying thank you for breaking us free, even though I know we have a long way to go to start a new life. Thank you for the knowledge, and my question is, how do we heighten our gifts? From CJ.
Yeah, I appreciate love your kind words. Thank you for that. I'm glad. I mean, we're getting a lot of feedback from people like that, and it's very encouraging and touching, because it's really all the master teacher partner Babyanun. And that's why I was saying at the beginning that, you know, like there's nothing more rewarding on the planet than to spread love, divine love, ashuk in our language, and to spread and teach, you know, like just to be in his presence, just to see that, you know, what he's doing, how he's helping and affecting the world. And it's so sad that, you know, not of us are not coming together to and that's what we're doing now, spread the word about him so that we can get him free. What you can do is, honestly, if you just literally come across this recently, get involved with the community, join our Telegram group, because there's so much information. That's why we chose Telegram, because it can take so many more people as opposed to WhatsApp, and you can share files and you can go back and read everything from the beginning. There's a lot of resources on there. We have many teachers on there, both male and female. And so your journey starts with starting to basically reverse the misinformation and that story about being wrongfully diagnosed. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're supposed to learn and study our bodies and learn about our health, because what you're putting into your being is supposed to be what sustains you. And what we have been taught to do is put the wrong things into our body, just like you wouldn't put sand into your car that needs petrol. So you have to start researching and studying and saying, like, I'm eating things that have been lied to. Like, for example, you think you're eating food. For example, you might say, I want to eat some chips. And you go somewhere to buy the chips and you think it's a potato that's been cut up into chips. Some are, most are not. You're getting yeast extracts that are then fried and made to look like potatoes. You go to the market, you think you're getting a banana and it's all GMO. You go, you know, so once you know and you're like, okay, I need to eat the right things. Herbs are natural, and you take herbs because you need to know where do you get nutrients from, vitamins from, and what do they do? How do you cleanse your body? What are the things that are being put into these synthetic foods that are not really natural? Why would you fry everything out of the food with just oil and then just eating something that has no nutrients just to fill up your stomach, to taste the salts and the sugars, the oils, and then after a while of doing this, you're gonna get ill because you're not putting the right fuel into your body. So you have practitioners, people that get really sick, nearly dying, and then they're like, I go find a cure. And you go to, you know, to the practitioners who are practicing. They practice on you, and they're just general practitioners who are practicing on you, and they call it GP. So you have to take matters into your own hands, like Dr. Sebi. That's what he did. He was suffering from all kinds of things, and then he started to go back to fasting, cleansing, because fasting will eradicate and eliminate a lot of the junk that you've accumulated over many, many years. And many people don't have the knowledge of doing colon cleanses and then maintenance in terms of like the nutrients that you need to replenish. And what does your liver? I asked somebody today, I literally was asked, where's your liver? They didn't know. Where's your kidney? They didn't know. Where's your heart? They didn't know. Like, I was like, these are all parts of your major organs that you need to know. And what do they do? What are they responsible for? And once you know that, you will literally not have to get sick, because you clean all the filth, all the crap, and then you start to eat properly, and you start to maintain by taking certain herbs and certain minerals and certain vitamins, and like, you're healthy. You know, you literally won't get sick, because it's also a science. This is what I'm saying about Dr. Sebi teaching you about the vibration, because it's also to do with your energy. Being alkaline is much, much more healthy. Only certain vibration and certain diseases and certain bacteria can exist in certain environments. It's like if you take something that won't survive in fire, you put it into fire, it's going to burn. So you look at the acidic side of things, and this is what causes a lot of acids in your body, and a lot of the ailments that you get is because of wrong diets. So yeah, start by joining our group, start learning, reading the scrolls, which covers health, spirituality, science, history, extraterrestrials, the cosmos, name it. The master teacher, Partner Babylon, Dr. Malaka Z. York, our teacher, has covered it all. So, you know, you don't have any excuses at the moment. So let's get together, get healthy, help each other, work together, and help others. That's funny. Let me read this. It looks funny. This is from Arnold Brown. Hamburger, a ham burger. It's true. When you look at the names and the things that we eat, oxtail, it's like cow foot. Why do you want to eat a cow's foot or an ox's tail? And a ham burger is made from ham. I'm not asking you. You have ground round, ground beef. Yeah, there's so many things. Like I said, you're eating yeast extracts thinking you're eating chips. So it's just really knowledge and knowing. Knowledge is the first part. The first part of knowledge is to know, not to believe. You can believe whatever you like. Do you have more, or should I keep going?
No, keep going.
All right. Yeah, Hansen's disease, Ham's son's disease, which is dealing with leprosy.
I'll give you one.
All right, go on then.
Does numerology shows life purpose?
Numerology does not show life purpose. What numerology does is give you clues mathematically to do with alignments, vibrations, because mathematics is actually a science that can help you in many things. So this is, even when we talk about the woman, we say her matrix is 9 times 9. And, you know, when you start to look at the number 9 and 9 ether, and why it's the highest number, 9 to the 9th power of 9, and you see certain messages that come up, you know, people call them angel numbers and all kinds of stuff, but you do get messages that for you that may be coded in a way that, you know, like when we go through the Bible, I was doing it today, and it's written in code. That's why the Strong's numbers help you, because each number breaks down each word, the etymology, where it comes from, what does it mean in the context. So you get to really be able to like decipher things. That's what they do really. You know, people try to have a one size fit all, and it doesn't work that way. It's like when people have what they call horoscopes, which have come from, you know, our science of solar biology, they may be like, oh, you're Sagittarius. So, you know, a reading for Sagittarius for today. And they will give you a breakdown, and everyone on the planet that thinks they're Sagittarius is going to say, oh, this applies to me. It can't do. So you have to be a bit more aware in terms of the technology, because there's a thin line between truth and lies. Oh, goodness, I'm not even entertaining that. All right, let's get you are. Okay, there's people having a conversation. On Young Elders YouTube, it was a great video. Okay. Okay, what else have we got? Let me see if there's anything. Yeah, people are having conversation. Unless you can find some. You can post a question. Okay. I thought it was a pre-recorded. All right, go on. Yeah.
This one's from All These Things. Says no one is an ET. That's why they live on Earth.
But where do they come from to get here? And ET just means extraterrestrial. something extra. So where do they come from then? Where does everything come from? No one's an ET. Okay. What is an ET? It's an extraterrestrial. What does the word ET means? Terra, terraform, terrestrial, celestial. I mean, we're speaking English as well. This is another thing. People forget that English only came about, some 500 years ago or so. So you have to go beyond English and go beyond the definitions of the words in the dictionary, which only deals with diction. Yeah, but the thing is, people will just make a statement like, okay, where are you, so we can put you to the test and give you all the questions that so you can answer. Like, make yourself available. Okay. Listen as well. We use these books because, as I keep saying, many of our people are still caught up in it, and we use it to explain certain things. But really, we've outgrown. All those books have expired, and we even had our own scripture that has also expired called the Holy Tablets, where the master conveyed what the Bible, Quran, or the religious books were trying to convey, the message. And you read that, master that, and then you got the hereafter doctrine, which deals with things that no one else is able to explain.
I got a good one.
Go on.
That one there was good. There's a few now, yeah.
Yeah.
But the first one was, I landed a new job while getting into Wu-Sabat. Is this a form of distraction that I got it? I recall you saying the devil can come in many forms, as the job will take more of my time.
No, it's about you being in control, and what it could be. It could also, like I said, everything has agreeable and disagreeable, negative and positive. I'm saying, yeah, there's some jobs that can come, but you're already aware of it, so you're gonna now be in control. It might help you to do something. So you have to look at it with the view that, okay, what do I want to do with my life? Maybe I can take the, whatever money I make from this, or the knowledge and the skills, and then set up something for myself. It could be to help you do something. So we're not saying don't have jobs or don't, do you know what I mean? We're just saying, like, always know it's a means to an end. Like, it's not, I'm going to be here for the rest of my life and get a pension and don't look after myself and don't, like, know what's going on, and you're just constantly, like, distracted. So you're already aware, so you now control the situation and not it control you. Like we say with anything, like, you utilize, don't be so, like, gullible. Don't be like I use the example with the people that still watch TV. I don't even remember the last time I really watched TV, but people say I'm watching the TV, but the TV is watching you. And you're not looking into the TV, you're staring at it and being recorded. Okay, we got another caller? Okay. Oh, Rahul Bat, it's Dorinda again. How you doing? What's your
Yes, it
question?
is.
Yeah.
Good. I just have a question about I enjoy working my prayer work with incense, crystals, herbs, candles. Is that a problem with Wu-Sabat? I've
Not at
always
all.
felt connected.
Absolutely. We because you've raised another very good point, that it's not just like, even like, we have like oils and incense and crystals, that because these create moods and frequencies and vibrations that are more conducive to you getting to that state where you're
Yeah.
actually more connected to the higher realms. So yes, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The point though is, what type of incense are you burning? Because I'm not saying you specifically, right? I'm talking in general. So the smells attract certain beings. And we have actually in stock right now something called the all oil, which is very unique. And the way you smell, because when you're in the presence of people, if they smell bad, no one wants to really be around them. Like, just not a very, they say cleanliness is next to godliness, and the vibration and the moods that you project actually affect people. So yeah, it's knowing which scent, I can't pronounce it. Scent, that's the word I'm trying to say, that it's the smell that it's giving off. So some are good and will attract certain beings, and others will repel or draw negative beings. So it's all about choosing the right ones. And yeah, so no, there's nothing wrong with creating that environment.
Do you have a scroll that goes into more of that?
Yes, we have a scroll called Feeding the Forces. We have that goes into that, and we have many scrolls, but the top of my head, that's the one that comes to mind. Feeding the Forces.
Thank you so much. That's
Absolutely.
great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can Sabians have hobby? Oh, yeah, we covered that. Is sleep good or bad? Oh, Rahubat, you speak of the Leviathan sleep spell. Can you elaborate more? Is sleep good or bad? All right. So when we say sleep in this context, in terms of the Leviathan book, we're talking about what they call sleepwalking, right? As in, you're walking around, but you're not aware and you're not conscious of what's going on. So that's what we're saying. We're not saying sleep as in rest, when your body actually needs to rejuvenate and your melanin and your serotonin being produced to help you to, like I said, rejuvenate and have good healthy life. So we're not saying sleep in that sense. We're talking about there's a spell of sleep that has been cast on people to the point where they're not aware of it. And this is what, when you say the word nod, right, it's dealing with, you're nodding. When you nod, like some people can't concentrate because they're so distracted constantly, either just working and just like not really spending time with themselves, to the point where when they start to read, they just fall asleep or they just nodding. That's the land of nod in that sense, whereby you're like, you're not conscious basically. You're not awake. You're just like you're asleep. This is where the term woke came from, because when people wake up or they're like activate and they're now starting to see things around them and going, I never noticed that before. That doesn't make sense. That's not correct. This is wrong. What's going on? They realize they're in the matrix and they're like, their eyes are open or their third eye is open because they're already walking around but they're asleep or not aware. And watch a movie called They Live. I think that's a great example of a movie that will visually show you this. Go ahead. Do you have another
This
question?
is the last question.
Yeah.
And
Wow, is that the time already? Gosh.
the person that spoke about their gifts,
Yeah.
and these gifts we have, how do we explore our gifts?
Right. It's like we mentioned the higher senses that you have, you know, been restricted from, as in telepathy, intuition, psychometry, and clairvoyance. If you break down what they mean, like telepathy is the ability to communicate from mind to mind. So you can speak to anybody that is in tune with you on that frequency. And imagine you didn't need a mobile phone to speak to anybody you wanted to mind. And so you can use that in many ways. Clairvoyance deals with clear vision, the ability to see clearly into different dimensions, into different things. So, you can see through the BS. You can look at people and, intuition, the ability to perceive and know something without anybody telling you. And psychometry is the ability to object read, touch things and pick up information, vibrations. You can, like sometimes when somebody's telling you a lie, most people can pick it up. They know, they naturally know that's a lie by the energy that they pick up. So when you say how to use it, it's like, if you had the powers of Superman, what would you do? X-ray vision. You could travel very fast. You could, like some people will use it. Imagine you had the power of invisibility, as we were hearing before with somebody talking about, and I've seen these clothes now that they're producing, I think from China, where you put it on and you're invisible, you know, what would you do? This is where it comes down to the morals and the ethical standards that you have. Are you going to be someone that's going to use it for disagreeableness, or you're going to use it for agreeableness? So really, it's like, what would you do comes down to, if you are right mind and sound mind and you're about helping humanity, you will use it. It's just like I was reading, there's a good, I don't really have many podcasts I listen to, but I came across one the other day where these two females, I'm not promoting anyone, like I'm not being paid by them or anything, but they were breaking down the celebrities and the richest people in the world, and they were basically saying how when the Amazon guy, he got divorced with one of his wives, and she got a lot of money and billions obviously, and she used the money to help so many charities, and she done more with the in comparison to what he's got with the little that he has. And they were basically explaining how a lot of these rich people, all they keep doing is get into the realm of being greedy, exploiting people, wanting more and more and more, and don't really like treat people or care about people the way that someone with, you know, a shook divine love, compassion would do. What would you do? Would you help the homeless, the sick, the, you know, orphans, etc., etc.? That's where the person I was asking about the lodge and stuff like that, that's part of what, you know, charitable works is something that, you know, you should do if you're doing things for humanity. We've gone way over time. All I can say to those questions and people that didn't have their questions answered is Nadum, which means sorry, but you can still join our Telegram group and get your questions answered. Next time, call in instead, because we give priority to live callers. And thank you to all the people answering questions as well in the chat, people that have had experience with the master teacher and they're sharing and helping. And yeah, LA storyteller Horace Ra, thank you, Seken, for sharing your divine knowledge and wisdom. Wu-Sabat now and forever. Free the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York. I think that's the best note to end on. Want to thank you for your kind words. And yes, I appreciate love everyone, all of you, because without you, there would be no Ask Us Anything, because you ask us the questions that make the show. Remember to subscribe, yeah, share, like, and most of all, yeah, if you have 3 questions you would like answered, video yourself, send us those questions to osmvision.wetransfer.com, because our souls matter. Until next week, Wadu.